Hey, tchotchkes, welcome back to another episode of the Cha Cha Beat. Honestly, tchotchkes, I don't have a lot of friends. Maybe if I had a lot of friends, I wouldn't feel the need to come onto the internet and connect with strangers that I've never met before. I've never had a lot of friends. When I was growing up in grade school and in high school, college, I was always very aware that whatever friends I did have always had like better friends than me. Like they could take me or leave me, and most of the time they left me to be quite honest. Whoever at any time I considered to be my best friend, I always knew that they actually had a best friend who was not me. In my adult life, like 20 and on over the last 20 years, I have lost a lot of friends. People that have come into my life that I met through a job or through other people or various ways that you meet people in your 20s, and we would have this whirlwind of a friendship, of a love affair, and have so much fun together. And then all of a sudden, one day, they would decide that I was like too much. I was just too intense for them, too loud for them, too risque for them, which is weird because I am pretty much like afraid of everything. I am not like a daredevil in any way. Like I don't know. I am not afraid to say my opinion, and maybe they just didn't agree with me about I honestly don't know. Most of the friends who have told me that they can no longer be my friends never actually gave me a reason why they could no longer be my friend. They just yelled at me and said, "This is it. This is it. I can't take it anymore." And that was it. And I was left in the dust to cry over another friend leaving me and wallow in my loneliness because, well, I guess I was just back to my status quo of being alone. That's how I spend most of my time, most of my years. I'm just alone. Justin is the first person in my life that I ever met that actually like wants to hang out with me. And I met him when I was 30. So that's like a long time of like begging people, please like me, please hang out with me. And them just being like, no, no, you're too much. So I've never been good at like making friends. I guess maybe I'm good at making friends. I'm not good at keeping friends. That's for sure. And it's no secret that the older you get, the harder it is to make friends. When you are in school, obviously you make friends because you're in school. And then, if you go to college, it's very easy to make friends in college. In your 20s, it's very easy to make friends because you are going out and about all the time. No one has like families or kids, at least not in New York City, where I spent my 20s. No one was married with kids in their 20s. Everyone was just out being social. So it was easy to meet new people and have the opportunity to meet new friends. And I guess I didn't really consider how much harder it was going to be to meet new people in my 30s because I moved across the country alone, all alone, obviously, I'm always alone. I moved across the country from New York to California when I was 29. I spent my 30th birthday alone at a bar, drinking a beer. Cheers to me. No friends. I didn't know anyone in the area. I didn't know anyone really in the state. I didn't know anyone west of Philadelphia. And yet, I moved 3,000 miles away from people I knew because, well, none of them liked me. So, and also I had to get away from winter. It's awful. I hate winter. So I moved to San Diego right before I turned 30, celebrated alone. And over the first 2 years that I lived in San Diego, I managed to make one friend. Oh, that's not true. I made two friends. The first friend is my friend Travis. Shout out to Travis, who we actually met on OkCupid and we dated for like 3 months, during which we just yelled at each other. We'd fight so intensely. But when we weren't fighting, we were just cracking each other up because we have the same just ridiculous sense of humor. So we would have so much fun until the point where like the fun was over and we just really couldn't stand to be around each other. At this point, I have known Travis for over 10 years. He is my longest friend, my longest standing friend in California. We are still friends. We don't see each other as much anymore because, as you get older, you just have less time to just like hang out. But he's still my friend. And then my other friend, Bridget, shout out to Bridget, who I met through my job, and she invited me to a house party where she and her husband were having a party. And that is where I met Justin, who is my best friend in the whole wide world. And sometimes it seems like he's my only friend, but he is definitely the best friend I've ever had. He's the first boyfriend I've ever had. Like I said, he's the first person I've ever met in my entire life that actually likes hanging out with me like all the time. It's wild. It's wonderful. He has very good taste. But it took me 2 years of living here before I met Justin. And by the time I met him, I was like so over San Diego and these people that just like didn't get me because I was a New Yorker, and New York and San Diego are pretty much like opposite situations. I did not understand the people here. They did not understand me. Aside from Travis and Bridget, and Bridget was married and had like a whole life here. So we hung out like very minimal times before she just invited me to this party because, like, why not? The more the merrier. So by the time I met Justin, I was like, I got to get out of here. I need to go to a city where like people get me because I'm a city girl. So I actually moved to San Francisco a month after I met Justin and didn't realize it at the time, but I actually was in a long distance relationship when I moved to San Francisco. Took a whole year before I actually accepted that. And at that point, we like were just, so in love. And he would come visit me once a month. And it was like this amazing experience that we'll go into another time. We can talk about the whole experience of a long distance relationship, especially as my first relationship. But we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about friendship, not romantic love. So I moved to San Francisco, and the easiest way to meet new friends is through your job. So I started hanging out with the people that I worked with. They were all relatively around my age, young 30s, and felt like I was starting to get a good social life going on. About a year into it, I realized that like my job is driving me crazy. They are overworking me. They have no respect for like, you know, boundaries of like I'm not staying overtime, or this isn't actually my job description, all these other things that they're asking me to do, ridiculous expectations. And I started to want to distance myself from my job. The only problem was that all my social life was through people at my job, like, and whenever we would hang out, we would just talk about, like, the office and office gossip and, all that stuff. So it was just, like, so much about my job that I didn't really have too much in common with these people, aside from the fact that we all were just, like, in this shared misery of where we worked. Except for 2 girls that actually presented themselves to be my friend in real life. Like, we would hang out all the time. I lived in San Francisco for 3 years, and these were the only friends I managed to make. Eventually, I moved back down to San Diego to be with my man, and within 6 months of me moving back, one of those girls declared she came down here to visit with her new boyfriend. They came down, we all went out one night, it was his birthday, we had a good time, and apparently I did something that night that, like, was the end. She couldn't take it anymore. I'm a horrible friend. I'm a horrible person. She never wanted to speak to me again. She never told me what I actually did. Justin, my witness for the evening, has no idea what actually happened that like made her so upset. That was friendship ending. We don't know. All we can think of is that she kind of had decided before she even showed up that I was too much and she was done with me, and she was just looking for a reason to end the friendship. That was a tough one to get over. I really thought that we were friends. I really loved her. And she stabbed me in the heart, stabbed me in the back. And I was really sad for like months over that. It was a really painful friendship to get over. The other girl, we're still friends. I saw her. I think I've been living down in San Diego. It's been like 7 or 8 years that I lived here. I've seen her once. We randomly send like a funny meme or something, but she's actually getting married this September. So in a couple months, she'll be getting married, and Justin and I are invited. We're going. It's going to be so much fun. I don't know if I'll know anyone else at the wedding besides her and her sister that I've met a couple times, but you know you're friends with someone if you are on the list to attend their wedding. So Maggie, shout out to Maggie, my one remaining friend from San Francisco. Oh, and I guess I would have to give my boss from San Francisco also an honorary mention, Trish, who we didn't like hang out socially when we were in San Francisco because she was my boss, but we have kept in touch a little bit. She has gotten me my next corporate job, which turned out to be my last corporate job. If you have watched another episode of the Cha Cha Beat, you know that when I got laid off from my last corporate job, I decided that's it. I'm not doing it anymore. I hate these corporate jobs. I hate working for the man. All I want to do is be creative and start the Cha Cha Beat. And if I don't do it now, I'm going to explode and go crazy. And this is it. I'm taking the leap of faith. Maybe I'll fail, but at least I know what's going to happen, because the wondering what would happen if I actually were brave enough to do this, to challenge my ideas and go for it. Like, that was going to drive me mad. So Trish, shout out to Trish for getting me my last corporate job that treated me very well until they laid me off in the end. But now I'm free. And I've been living down here in San Diego for 8 years now, and well, no friends. It's really hard to make friends in your late 30s, early 40s when you're not a mom. I've tried to make friends. I started a Spanish class group. Like, I went onto the Nextdoor app and said, I want to learn Spanish. Who else wants to learn Spanish? Who wants to teach us Spanish? And I like gathered a group of, I think there were like 5 or 6 of us, plus a woman teacher, all local. We would meet at a coffee shop. And yeah, I guess I wanted to learn Spanish. Like, I live in San Diego. I've never like learned Spanish before. So I knew like nothing, and everyone here speaks Spanish. Like, we're so close to Mexico. It is definitely like a bonus to speak Spanish. So like I guess I wanted to learn Spanish, but mostly I was just trying to make some friends. I was just looking for an excuse to gather some gals and see if any of them could become my new best friend. Spoiler alert, none of them became my new best friend. And I did Spanish for about a year. I learned the basics and then kind of fizzled out because it wasn't as much fun to go to the groups, because yeah, I wanted to learn Spanish, but that's not why I started that group. And when it didn't manifest the best friend that I was looking for, I pretty much lost interest in studying Spanish. I also tried the Bumble app. Do you know that the Bumble app has like, yes, it's for dating, but it also has like the Bumble BFF, and it's for like friendships. So I tried that for a little while. I went on like a couple like first friend dates. Didn't really click with anyone except for one girl who we met I think we hung out for like 4 or 5 hours on our first friend date, and then we went out a couple more times. Like, we would have so much fun together. We were both from the East Coast. We seemed to have so much in common, had a great time, and then she ghosted me. I just never heard from her again. I don't know if she still lives here. I don't know. Just we're not friends anymore. I guess I don't know if we actually were ever friends. I don't know if we ever like made it through like the talking phase of becoming friends, but she definitely was not my friend. And that was kind of like the last straw of me like trying to actually make friends. Like it seemed easier to not try at all than to try and be disappointed. And so I pretty much just went back to being by myself. And while yes, I do have Justin and I love him so much and he loves me, Justin is a very busy guy and he works out of the house. At this point, I was working from home. Justin, he works out of the house. He was not home for like 10 hours a day. He owns a plumbing company, so, he's got a lot going on and I would just be alone. I'd be working from home, so the only interaction I would have with people would be through like the Zoom. And these are, my work colleagues at this point. So no one lived locally. Everyone was spread across the country. And I had learned already that, you can't be friends with your coworkers because really the only thing you had in common at the end of the day is the job. And when the job goes away, kinda so does that relationship, and so I was just alone, like, I would go days without talking to anyone except talking to myself, talking to my cat. Like, Justin would come home at the end of the day, and we would, like, maybe hang out for 20 minutes while he ate dinner, but then he would be tired and wanna go to sleep, and I'd be like a puppy dog, like, running around him with, like, all this energy, and it just was not enough, like, I was so lonely. Well, I'm happy to report that for the past 2 years, since I stopped working a corporate job, working remotely from home on my computer, I have been a lot less lonely, mainly because I've gotten a waitressing job where 3 to 4 nights a week, I'm out of the house, at the restaurant, interacting with people, looking people in the eye. Yes, I'm older than most of the wait staff by 20 years. Maybe not 20 years, maybe like 15 to 18 years. They're all like 23 years old. But they're silly, they're funny. I can, have a rapport with them. And it definitely like scratches that itch of just like being social, of being extroverted. It's not like as lonely. I've pretty much just accepted that I'm not going to make friends again until I'm in my 50s because every woman who is in her 40s right now, for the most part, is going to be a mother or is going to be a business owner or is going to have some other kind of hustle going on where making new friends is just like not the top priority. What's my point? What's my point, tchotchkes? You're like, ugh, this chick, all she does is talk about herself. But I hope that you realize, tchotchkes, yes, I'm talking about myself. Yes, I am. But I'm talking about all of us. Like, I hope that you're watching this because you can relate to something that I'm saying. What I'm talking about resonates with you. Maybe you've struggled to make friends in your adult life. Maybe you've struggled to make friends your entire life. Maybe you have always felt like the odd man out or the black sheep or a loser because you just don't have friends. Like, both my sisters have so many friends and like friends that they've known their entire lives, like friends that like they've known since they were like in 5th grade, they're still hanging out with. And I'm not friends with anyone that I knew. Like maybe high school, I've got like 2 friends left from high school that I talk to twice a year because I live on the other side of the country from them. But like both my sisters have so many friends and for a long time that made me kind of feel like shit about myself because like I was the loser sister that just like no one wanted to be friends with. So maybe You're the loser sister that nobody wants to be friends with. And that's why you're here, Tchotchke, because we understand what it's like to be alone, to be lonely, to just not connect or click with people that are around us, and to be on this seemingly endless pursuit to find our people. Do you believe in synchronicity, Tchotchkes? I do. I definitely do. Like, I believe that because like I said, I was going to move to San Francisco. The day that I met Justin, I had just accepted a job in San Francisco. And then I met Justin, who a local from North County, San Diego. Like, I believe truly that that was the universe being like, Cha-Cha, like, this is where you're supposed to be. You haven't gotten it yet, so we're gonna give you like a smart, handsome, loving, funny, sweet man who adores you. And maybe that'll get it through your thick skull to like not go running off to another city. Like, this is where you are meant to be. I truly believe that it was synchronicity of the timing when Justin and I met, because if I hadn't met him, I would have had no reason to come back to live here. And just my opinion, tchotchkes, don't be all offended if you disagree, but in my opinion, San Francisco sucks. The people have no sense of humor and the weather is terrible. And so thank goodness that I met Justin right before I left. So I was able to come back here to San Diego where the weather is awesome. Back to present times. So, synchronicity, I don't know the last time I went on the Nextdoor app. Do you know about the Nextdoor app? It's like essentially Facebook, but for like your neighborhood. I don't know why I opened the app today. I didn't have an objective of like information I was looking for when I opened this app. I really was just procrastinating of like, I'm not ready to start working on this podcast yet today. So, what else can I look at on my phone? Like, that's why I opened the app. Anyway, so I opened the app, and wouldn't you know that last night a woman posted that her grandmother just died and they used to play cribbage, which is a card game. They used to play cribbage all the time, and she's looking for someone to play cards with. And something that's always been on my bucket list in the back of my mind is I've always wanted to have like a weekly like card game, or I don't know how to play mahjong, but like a mahjong game or a poker game, a weekly night with 3 or 4 friends where we always got together and played games. And I was just very aware that, like, I don't have any friends, so I don't know when this is gonna happen because you gotta get some friends before you can play a game with them. But anyway, I see that this woman posted on the Nextdoor app looking for someone to play cards with. So I messaged her back saying, "I'll play cards with you." A little bit out of my comfort zone because meeting new people, putting yourself out there means that they can potentially break your heart because you get all excited that you met a new friend and then they decided that you're like too much for them and they stop talking to you. But maybe before that happens, I can get some good card games in. It's the first time in a long time that I've actually considered putting myself out there, trying again to meet new people, meet new friends, and see what happens, which is like a weird thing to say because, like, what is this? What do you mean it's the first time in a long time? Like, this is the first time in a long time that I've actually put myself out there. Sorry, tchotchkes. I didn't mean to like discredit our friendship like that. So I don't know. This is exciting. I don't know what's gonna come of this card game. I don't know what's gonna come of this tchotchkes, of our relationship here. But I do feel like in all the time that I did spend alone for so long, I am finally comfortable enough with myself to say, you know what? If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And either way, I'm going to be okay because I got myself, and that's not so bad because I'm awesome. I don't know if you've noticed, but like, I'm awesome. And again, you're like, why is this chick talking about herself? But it's not about me, Chachi. I mean, it is about me. Yes, I know, because I'm just talking about my own experience. But I can't be the only one out there who has struggled to meet friends, make friends, keep friends. I refuse to accept that I'm the only one that has had these experiences. So I'm just trying to put out some honesty, some vulnerability, some true, raw, authentic human experience so that maybe, Chachki, you can feel a little less alone and you can be a little less self deprecating when you feel really lonely. It's okay to feel lonely. Maybe you're just too awesome for other people to handle you and you're just still waiting to find your people. But you made it here, Chachki. Yes, you did. You've made it to this video. You've made it to this point in the video. So do me a favor, like this video and subscribe to the channel and consider yourself officially having found your people. Woo! So exciting. All right, tchotchkes, that's all the time we have today. If you haven't already, like this video and subscribe to the channel. And then I haven't actually mentioned at all in this video, but I am writing a book. It's a memoir called Let Me Out, I'm Stuck. And it is my story of realizing that where I am, where I was kind of put in life, is not where I want to be. And my journey over the last 20 years of adulthood to pretty much change everything about my life and come out the other side being the most authentic, real, vulnerable, awesome version of myself. So if you want to read some of my book, head to chachabeat.com. That's where you're going to find all the excerpts from the book. You don't need to read them in order. Every beat is a story totally in itself, a beginning, a middle, and an end. So just click on any beat and start reading. And I think that you may actually really enjoy reading something original for a change, because everything out there right now is so redundant, so boring, so vapid. None of those words describe Let Me Out, I'm Stuck. It is totally original, from the heart. You've never read anything like this before. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Head to chachabeat.com, start reading, and let me know if you've read something else like this before. I would be shocked to hear it. All right, tchotchkes, thank you so much for being here. And until next time, keep calm and cha-cha on. Cha-cha.